Yo, what's going on, man? Mr. B Fire, how you doing?
Doing good. How's it going?
Pretty good, man. Welcome to the show, man. It's your first time on the Rap Draft, man. So we like to showcase the artists and ask questions about people in the business and who's in the entertainment and the rap and all that. So, before we start, man, I want to ask you, man, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I feel like I'm doing pretty good.
Okay, now, tell us about yourself, man, for somebody who want to know who Mr. B Fire is and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I'm B Fire. I own B Fire Productions and Promotions. I put together different concerts and shows throughout the city, club promos, club events. I be pretty much everywhere. Primarily Prom Social, but I be everywhere. So.
Okay, now how long you been doing that?
I've been doing this for a couple years now.
That's dope. And before we get into like everything, like your inspiration and all that, I like to tap into people like backgrounds and childhood and stuff like that. So if you don't mind me asking, like, where was you born and raised?
Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay, now like what was it like growing up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin for you?
I mean, it was pretty chill. Like, where I grew up wasn't like too much, chaos and all that. I mean, back then it wasn't really a lot of chaos anyway. I feel like a lot of the BS and all that kind of started after COVID.
Right.
But like we all was outside all the time and didn't need to, be within eye distance of nobody. It was just, it was chilling.
Right. Those are some good times, man. Like, it's a different time from now and then from when we grew up and stuff. Now let's get into it, man. Like, what or who inspired you to become a promoter?
OG Tweezy.
Rest in peace.
So I did house parties and stuff. Me and my friends put together house parties. And after, got 21, started going to clubs like Oasis. So OG Tweezy and Ace Molly was up at Oasis when I started popping out there, and I'd bring out, a bunch of my friends, bunch of my people, and get a section, put 15, 20 people in the section, and just turn up. And after a couple months of doing that, like every other week, he was like, y'all really a vibe, and everybody fuck with you. You want to be like a guest host on a flyer. So I'm like, all right, cool. Now I got my face on flyers, say guest host, and I'm using the B Fire name for when I was doing house parties. So it just, kind of rolling into that. And, I'm bringing more and more people out and telling, hey, I got 2 other people that want to buy a section, go hit up Tweezy, and then it just, snowballed into that. And he's like, you ever think about being a promoter? I'm like, what's that? And I know nothing about that. So he really taught me a lot about like how to talk to people, how to sell sections, how to promote events, how to get your name out there, and really what to do, what a promoter is and what they should do and all that, really showing, love to the city. And he taught me everything I know and what I do. So I owe a lot.
All right, here you are today, man. I've been seeing your name for a minute, man. I've been seeing festivals and things you've been having and stuff like that. And I'm glad you touched on Tweezy, man, because I was going to ask you, like, how did you meet Tweezy?
Just at the club.
Okay. Now, obviously you had to be doing something good for him, and like, for you to catch his eye, like, man, I like what you're doing. You've been around a lot.
I honestly don't know what I could have possibly done. I'm just there with my friends, turning up, just having fun, having a good time.
Right.
I didn't think nothing about, this could make me money, or this could, help me do something that I want to do, never crossed my mind. He kind of put me on that path.
Right, and that's dope, but that shows you too, like, sometimes life happens and like it was meant to be for you to cross paths with him, man. How did the death of Tweezy affect you?
It was hard. I was outside that night and not terribly too far from Element, like literally maybe like 2 blocks down at Brownstone. 2 blocks, 1 block, so not that far.
Right.
You know, so we heard all the commotion outside and kind of like try to get out there. But, you know, within 20 minutes, I started getting an immense amount of text messages and phone calls asking if I'm okay. I'm trying to be like, what the hell happened? You know, why is everybody asking if I'm okay? And now I start seeing posts on Facebook, and, you know, it's it really hit me like hard. You know, I didn't go home that night. I went to Tweezy shop. We sat outside Tweezy shop. Maintain pulled up there. A couple other people. We was out there till 11 noon. Everybody started, you know, bringing flowers, and then we just started posting on our pages. You know, everybody pop out. We're gonna do some. So we got DJ Pigstacks to come out. We, you know, had live music. Started doing food, and then news stations showed up, and it just turned into a whole big thing. I don't think I went home for like 2 or 3 days after everything happened. It was just a lot that went on, and it just didn't feel right.
Yeah, that's crazy, and it's sad, man, because somebody like Tweezy, who was really something for the city, somebody who really represented the city well,
Yeah.
and I would have never thought that would happen to him, man. And I don't know what happened. I mean, I know what happened, but I don't know why it happened. You know,
I can't imagine. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I mean, like, obviously we know what happened, but like the reason why, you know, we don't know, and I can't imagine that anybody would do anything intentionally to him at all, because he don't do nothing to nobody. You know, he spent his whole life doing nothing but showing love and support, even if it was never returned. You know, like.
yeah, man, that's sad, man. Now, seeing the death of Tweezy and stuff like that, did that like does that make you cautious about, because you really can't control who comes to the parties or the events?
I think I canceled like half of my events for the rest of the year. I was supposed to do a nationwide tour with my concert series. I canceled that whole thing. It was just, you gotta take a step back and reflect. So I'm kind of changing up how I do everything, and you know, who I keep around, just being more cautious with everything. It's just
yeah. Man, that's deep, man. Let me ask you, like, what are the pros and cons of being a promoter since you started and been doing it?
Pro is I can walk in just about any club I want. Just walk in. 5 years ago, when I was just like coming out with my friends, like I thought, you know, why do this person get skipped the line? Like, now I know, because they somebody, you know. And it takes a lot of work and a lot of passion in what you do to get out there and, you know, really build up your name to be able to do that. You know, that it don't come easy, it don't come cheap, it don't come free. You know, you have to bust your ass for that. You know, but I feel like it's the most humbling thing in the world to be able to just, you know, show up and somebody knows you and you just walk in like okay, cool. Like, you know, I really think that's very, very humbling, like, you know, like the recognition.
Right.
Some of the cons, let's start with everybody that hits you up for free shit. You know, like, at the end of the day, I have to make some kind of money, right? Because I'm putting money into this. So if I give everything away for free, I'm really just taking nothing but an L. You know, like I will do that sometimes when I do like my events for charities. You know, like in May I did a concert, and I took a giant L on that. I brought out a whole bunch of female artists, female DJ, did an all ladies concert, and donated all those proceeds to women's shelters. You know,
Dope.
so I'm gonna run that back again next year. You know, I feel like it was a success. It was a huge L, but worth it. You know, what's not worth it is just, you know, telling all your friends, oh, because I'm the promoter, you cool, come on. You know, it don't work like that. You know, and that does like put a strain on some friendships and shit if people are really, you know, how to say, like hell bent on getting it for free. You know, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, if I'm bringing out a celebrity, you know, y'all don't want to come support my regular days. Why am I letting you in for a celebrity day? You know, yeah, you my friend, but you don't be supporting on a normal night, so I can't just like let you in for free. You know, it would be different if you was out there every night supporting me. You know, but you know, to bring out a celebrity, not free. You know, it's a lot of money, and I'm not going to lose money on just letting somebody in because they're my friend. You know.
Yeah, and I know you get that a lot too, man. That's crazy because the amount of like things you had to probably deal with the fake friends or women trying to get in or people trying to fit like just be your friend or try to get in. Like how do like besides the friends, like how do you deal with that?
I mean, if it's a person I'm in a relationship with, that's one story. If they blood relative, that's one story. If they just a friend, it's not much I can do, you know? Like, sure, I can pull some strings and get like an extra one or two people in, but I don't want to be looking like that guy, you know?
Right.
And it's like maintaining a reputation and business first.
Right. Now, let me ask you this, man. I'm about booking artists. Like, well, it's kind of like two questions. And one is like, is it a hassle booking artists? And also, how do you go about booking an artist?
I don't think it's too much of a hassle. It depends on their management, really. Like, if they don't have management, it's a cakewalk because you just working directly with the artist. You know, it's pretty cut and dry. This is the artist's wants. This is our expectations. You know, and we able to get the business right away. With a manager or a label, it's a lot of red tape. You know, you gotta go through the manager. Once the manager's cool, you gotta go through the label. Once the label's cool, okay, now you can kind of negotiate with the artist, but you gotta still make sure that whatever you negotiate, cool with the label and the manager. You know, so it's just a lot of extra steps.
All right, that's three different old people.
I mean, I got like 5 different artists that I'm working with right now for bookings for next year. And not any small names either, you know. But, you know, one of them is extremely difficult because they have a manager with a label. One of them is a little bit easier because they just have the manager and the management team. I've worked with them before and booked the artist a couple times before. So, you know, bringing them out for a third time, it's a cakewalk now because, you know, we kind of already have that understanding and that rapport. It's just a matter of paying that deposit. The other artists are all independent and, you know, that's already easy. I just did a negotiation today with one. Took a minute or 45 minutes. You know, pretty kind of dry, straightforward. And now it's just a matter of picking a date and, you know, making the flyer.
Yeah, man. That's what's up, man. Like I said, it seems like being a promoter could be difficult, but you kind of know what you're doing because not everybody can do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's also, I think I'll be seeing you like posting artists and stuff like that. Do you work with some artists that you like
I do.
closely with? Okay, now what is that like working with artists? Like what made you get into that lane?
That's something that I was doing a few years ago. I tried starting up my own label. That I just didn't have the business experience at the time, so that kind of just like dried up fast. I didn't have the legal paperwork, the NDAs or anything like that, so I didn't have the protection for myself. You know, I had protection for the artist, just not myself. So the artists were like, you know, got what they needed off of my label and was like, all right, bye, you know. So I kind of got screwed over a couple times, too many, and, you know, switched up how I was doing stuff and started focusing more on doing club events. But lately I've been getting a lot of pressure from artists that I work with to help them build a team or, you know, help manage them or, you know, get them connections and stuff. So it's been a lot of work and a lot of finances, but I feel like it's slowly becoming worth it and, you know, doing it the right way this time.
All right. And okay, so is it safe to say, like, what you also doing your promoter thing, your stuff like that, the business, you thinking about bringing the label back and trying to start the label up?
I don't know.
Not yet. Not for sure yet. Okay. Because now that could seem like it can be a juggle itself, and it's like I don't know if you can manage both. If you can, you can. But do you think you would have to like pick one? But
sorry.
No, you good. Do you think you had to pick one or the other?
No.
Okay.
No, I think doing it right, like from a business aspect, like you have a holding company, then you have your operating companies. The label would just be a operating company underneath the holding company. So everything that's done, everything's kind of like all inclusive all together. So even if something happens with the label, the holding company's got all your assets and all your finances and protection. So this is just, you know, file bankruptcy, open up a new label, you know, if something does happen. So it's just, you know, doing it right the first time, you know.
Okay. Let me ask you this. What is your biggest show that you ever like promoted?
The biggest one that I've done, that's a close one. There's two that I would probably tie for first place just based off of how many people came out. The first one's Fiesta Latina. So one of my close friends, Jesse, he organized this event, and I was the sole promoter. So, you know, based off of just my name and his access to resources, we brought out close to 4,000 people. You know,
That's dope.
I feel like if we ran that back again this year, it would have been bigger. But, you know, the second one was a Summerfest event this year. We did Ira Star. So Afrobeats Night, DJ Leo Neo, you know, he organized the whole thing. I was the promoter for it. So between me and him, you know, we did a really, really good show. And that entire stage was just, the crowd was just filled, absolutely filled. We did the after party at Element. You know, that was sold out. So I think we did a very good job of, you know, promoting. And again, that's just me as the sole promoter, you know.
Now, do you have any shows where you felt like this is my worst, or man, this was like a headache or a nightmare?
I did a 414-day show last year, and it was an absolute headache. It paid off, but it was an absolute headache. And we put 117 artists on stage across 2 days. So, you know, it's a lot of work, a lot of coordination, you know, absolute headache. Worth it, but absolute headache. The worst event that I did, I had a show that I did in 2023. That one was a flop. Almost nobody came out. So, spent $3,500 on an artist to come up from Chicago, and we had probably like 30 people in the building. So that one hurt. But I feel like it had something to do with like other events going on in the city. The day, the time, the venue could have been better. Another one I did this year, I did Pretty P's birthday party. And between the original person that was going in on it with us, backing out last minute, and, the whole financial responsibility fell on me then, that happened. And then change of venue, change of date, change of time, lack of sections being sold. We only had like 80 people show up, but at the end of the day, Pretty P got paid. All the bills got paid. I got my picture with her, and, we had a good night. We still turned up, we still had fun, and, that's all you can do.
Right. Now, I would think like when someone who's partnering with you, they play a big role in the financial part.
Yeah.
When they back out, I can imagine what kind of panic that can probably put somebody in. Like, I got to come up with this money. Like, so when you start off, like, is it a thing in your mind, like, I should probably have this saved up, or I should probably try to get this? Because I know some artists isn't cheap,
Yeah. I like trying to get most of my bills paid before this show, right? So if I know I'm going to have to come up on 2 bands, I like having that either in my pocket when I show up to the event, or have that taken care of and paid right away before the events start. That way, if anything does go wrong, it is what it is. At least bills are paid and people are happy, because when people don't get paid, then that's when drama starts, fights start, shooting starts. Like, it's a lot of chaos that can happen off of that. That's not good for business, Another thing with the Pretty P one is I went through 3 whole DJs, within 24 hours of the day of the event, trying to get people booked and started, so that was another major headache with that. But it all worked out in the end, so I think it was a loss, but it was a success at the same time because everybody had fun.
Okay, so also, do you work out of Prime Social a lot, or work at Prime Social and do your shows a lot, or is it everywhere?
I do most of my events at Prime. That's somewhere that's been very kind to me. So end of September last year, the owner, Mr. O, hit me up, telling me he wanted me to be part of the team. We've had a lot of meetings since then, and it's just been nothing but a great partnership. We kind of keep my events off the Prime Social page just so we can focus on more organic growth with that, so we're not kind of like, dragging other crowds that Prime has into concerts, because not everybody wants to sit there and listen to 10 different artists, perform all night long. It's a different crowd.
Right. Now, let me ask you this. Like, how important is, like, Prime Social to, like, the Milwaukee music scene, or just hip-hop, period?
So, Prime has they just rebuilt them within the last 2 years, both inside and outside the stages. State-of-the-art sound system. Like, if you bring in an artist or a celebrity, or you just want to, like, get booked to come perform and you an up-and-coming rapper, like, Prime Social is probably one of the best places to go, just off of the quality of the stage, the experience, They have a pretty solid capacity, great staff, great promoters, great security. It's a very safe environment. I don't know of any actual shootings or altercations on that property in the last 4 or 5 years. You know, they do very, very good job of making sure their patrons are safe and taken care of. You know, so if you're looking for somewhere to go, it's probably one of the best places that you could go. You know?
Yeah, that's dope, man, because I see Prime really have a lot of things going on. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Prime. Shout out to a lot of Element, all these places that, you know, bring artists here. That allows you guys to do your job and help bring the culture up and the city up and make it a good place to have music and stuff like that, man. Let me go back to when you said about like people dropping out of like investors and all that. Like how, like what kept you going? Like, cause I wonder if you had like some moments like, man, I don't know if this is what I should be doing or something like that.
I have a very stubborn mindset. A lot of my friends are going to tell you that I'm hard-headed and very stubborn. I accredit that to having a strong work ethic. I don't give up. So if everything goes to shit, you know, I'm still going to go through with it. Even if it's probably not the best idea in the world, probably should, you know, push it back, reschedule or cancel. I'm still going to go through with it because, you know, I made a commitment to make it happen, and, you know, we're going to make it happen. Now, there's been a couple times where it's like an emergency. I can't do the event. You know, I had, like, recently, I was in a pretty bad car accident, and I was out for a good week and a half, you know, so it kind of messed up my birthday party. So now my birthday party's in September for a Leo bash, you know, but, you know, it all works out.
All right, man. You're doing your thing, bro. I can definitely say that, like, cause you know, it's good that you got that hustler mentality, that you know, that grind mentality. Like, you don't let nothing stop you. You keep going. You got a lot of things going for yourself, bro. And I want to talk about Firefest.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Firefest. Like, let people know what Firefest is.
So Firefest is a concert series that I had developed in 2023. Off the interest of a bunch of up-and-coming artists that I knew that weren't getting a lot of exposure. They weren't being invited out nowhere to perform. So I wanted to do a platform that brought unknown artists into a known area. You know, so we've done like a different vibe most of 2024 for Firefest events, and switched over to Prime in September. We did July of 2024 at Prime, but then like consistently in September started doing everything at Prime. So it's just been a, you know, we've done 4 or 5 different venues now with Firefest, but it's a great opportunity for artists, I feel. You know, there's been a lot of different connections that I've made throughout the years that I'm inviting people out from other states and different labels. So we've had Virgin Music Group, we've had Universal Music Group, and Empire Records all, you know, send somebody out for at least one show to check out the artists and check out the performances. And now you've got artists that have been signed within, you know, a month of their performance with Firefest, you know. So it's got not everything to do with them being signed, of course, but it does help. You know, they get that extra recognition. You know, they might be already being looked at by a label. Now they got A&R that came and see their live performance. So now that's when negotiations start, you know. So I feel like it's a great opportunity for artists to get out there. And, you know, you have mic drops, you have different things that you can do for, you know, your page and stuff, sure. But, you know, Firefest is a different kind of environment. You know, you get the opportunity to bring out your crowd and other people's crowds and perform in front of a bunch of people, you know, at a tenth of what a mic drop would be, you know?
That's facts. And, you know, with that, it's like you providing another platform and another opportunity for artists.
Right.
You know, like you said, you can do mic drops, you can do videos and all that, but This is actually getting you out here to be in front of these fans, talk to these fans, rub elbows with other people and connect.
It's networking.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and that's not something you can get off of just a mic drop, you know. Mic drop, yeah, you're going to get a lot of views. You're going to get all that recognition, you know. And those are great ways to grow your music and grow your platform. Having a live performance, you know, that's the other side of everything that, you know, you should also strive for as an artist, you know. Not just all, you know, content. You should also do some live performances. Get your music out there, have that different experience. Because when you do have one of these mic drops go viral and you do make it, you know, and you get put on a stage and you don't know what to do because you've never been on a stage to perform before, you just done mic drops, you know, you're going to wish that you had some experience like that where you're performing in front of people, you're working with a live DJ, and you're doing live music, you're not lip syncing your music or anything like that like you would in a music video or none. You know, you're actually having to perform. You know, it's a whole different experience.
Right. It's definitely a different experience, and it's getting you ready, like you said, preparing you for just like your career period, you know, and getting you that experience. What is your advice to artists?
Make sure that you have all of your ducks in a row. Make sure you're protected. ASCAP, BMI, make sure you have all your royalties taken care of, right? You want to make sure that you have a distro kit set up so you can drop on one platform and it takes it on everything, you know. So a distro, for artists that don't know, you basically, you know, drop a file, your music, your cover art, whatever you want to drop, and it'll post it to Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, you know, SoundCloud, all that. You're going to post to every platform there is at the same time, you know, and all of them have royalties that will pay you for every view. It's like 1 cent a view. It's not much, but, you know, if you, an artist that's like Lonnie that drop a new track every week, you know, Lonnie P has hundreds of songs, you know, and sure, some of them only get, you know, 10, 20,000 views. You know, that's only like $100, $200, you know, but times that by like 300 songs. That's a lot of money.
Right.
You know, the more music you drop that have protections with royalties and you have all your things in a row, the more money you're going to make. You know, and that you can reinvest that into doing live performances and mic drops and music videos and then growing your music even more. Anytime that your music get played, that's also royalties. Anytime a DJ play your music, that's royalties. That's tracked by everything, you know. Like, technology's gotten really advanced. Like, if you get your song played at, let's say, Element or Prime or Legends, and you're not even there, right? But your song getting played, you're still making a cent off of that because your song being played.
And that's all through, like, DistroKid, and it's tracking that?
It's everything is tracked. Most DJs' equipment and their systems that they use, it's all kind of like a network almost. Like, you got to download all your music. Well, what happens when you download your music? Where are you downloading it from? You're downloading it from something that was distroed. So all of a sudden you're going to get paid for that. You know, so every time a DJ downloads your music, and, you know, play it and play and play and play and play, well, that's being taken care of, that's being tracked. So, you know, getting your music out there, networking with DJs, networking with clubs, networking with promoters like me, you know, come do events. Like a little $30, $40 to perform 2 songs, you know, really ain't much at all when you think about it in the grand scheme. So, you know, and you have nothing to lose. You only have stuff to gain. You got experience to gain, followers to gain, fans to gain, you know, a whole bunch of content that you can get from it. It's a good opportunity. So Firefest was made for up-and-coming artists. You know, and that's been its biggest goal, is to lift up the community, lift up the music community in Milwaukee, artists in Milwaukee, kind of bring more artists together and network together. And we got a big, it's called Artist Network on Instagram. It's a group chat. It's got probably like 190, 200 artists in it, all from around the area, and they all, talk to each other, and they're networking with each other, and they're sharing music back and forth, linking up to do features, and it's just a great thing that's been happening lately, and it just makes me very proud. Yeah,
that's what's up, man. Artists, y'all hear him, man. Make sure y'all take heed to this advice that he's giving y'all, and don't be afraid to promote and put money towards your career, like pay for a performance or even promotion videos, and because some people be too cool to pay for certain stuff and they feel like they shouldn't, but it's a business. It takes money to make money most of the time.
Like, for those of you that don't think you need to pay, right? It's a reason that there are prices in place for mic drops, live performances, all that, right? It's from the venue to the equipment to, if it's live performance, you got security to protect you, the DJ to make sure that your music sounds accurate, because sometimes when you drop a file or you play it off your phone, it's going to have static. It's not going to sound right, it's not going to sound like how you recorded it. So that DJ making sure that everything's smooth, like you're not paying for anything just to pay for it. You're paying for the services,
Right.
And you're getting content off of it. You're getting exposure off of it, and you're going to be making money off of it with royalties if you have everything set up right. So, that little amount of money, that goes right into the event. And every time, like with Firefest, right? Just as an example, I'm spending probably like 2 bands on every show, minimum. Artists sign up, anywhere from 20 to 50. Now, I'm not even making my 2 bands back off of artist sign-up fee. I have 20, 30 artists on there. I still got to come up with some funds to pay DJ and security, and all, I break even most shows just for Firefest off the fact that they are, low-cost entry. You're bringing out the fans of the artists that sign up. So if the artist sign up, he only bring out 2 people, that's not a lot that's coming at the door. So we tend to break even a lot. I'm not making profit off of this. I do this because I fuck with the artists. I'm trying to lift up all the artists around me and bring up the city. I don't do this for me. I do this for the artists.
That's dope.
So that's just something to keep in mind for anybody that's out there, being like, oh, I think I should get a free performance. Well, bring out 50 people. Show me that I need to give you a free performance, So part of a showcase. Show me, that you can do what you can do. You say you can bring out the city? Show me, Until then, the fees are the fees, and it's all love at the end of the day. It's all business at the end of the day.
Yep.
If you don't want to pay the fee, it is what it is. But, if you think that you don't need to, show me you don't need to, and then we can talk.
That's right. Nobody's bigger than the program, and if you feel like you is, you got to show me, That's what's up, man. You're doing your thing, and that's dope that you're doing what you're doing for the artists and not just for yourself. And there's a lot of platforms out here like that, even including myself and stuff. So I think it's dope that we all playing our part to try to push the city forward and, put the city on. Now, let the people know, where they can find you and what's next for you.
So where they can find me is all platforms, official.b.fire, TikTok, Instagram. You can find my business pages, B Fire Promotions, official.b.fire Productions, or Firestorm Entertainment on Instagram and Facebook. You can find Firefest MKE, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, all that. Just tap in on all platforms, and come check us out. Like a couple posts, reshare, whatever you want to do. If you want to sign up, just, hit the inbox and, we'll get you on another show. For what's next up for me is I got my official birthday party, September 13th at Prom Social, 9 p.m. We got 3-piece very own Daryl Woods going to be live, Yana Bay live, Rissa, Sean P., couple others going to come out, you know, so it's going to be a big event. I got 2 artists out of Chicago coming up, so we have Electra and Nick Royale. I think it's going to be a very, very fun event. And then the weekend after that, I got Lonnie P birthday party. So we got 45G Baby, Sean P, 414 Kennedy, Loud Pack Larry, Lonnie, and myself doing that one. Again, Prime Social, 9 p.m. And then I got a R&B concert, Veterans Day. So Tuesday, November 11th, we got 3-piece live in Milwaukee.
Dope.
So if you want to see 3-piece and, you know, do ooh ah with them, you know, you know. So we got a little bit more with that one. We're gonna have a slow dance competition and, you know, a couple other things coming with that one. So if you want to make some money and show us your best slow dancing, your best juking, and you want to make some money, we're gonna have some contests for you.
That's dope, man. Hey, pull up, man. Come show some love for my boy B Fire, man. That's dope, man. Like it's really dope to see you doing your thing, man. You know, keeping it going, keeping OG Tweezy legacy going. You know, shout out to him. Rest in peace to Tweezy. Shout out to you, man, for doing your thing for the city, man. Keep doing what you're doing, bro. Don't let nothing stop you. You know, we need people like you. You know, keep doing what you're doing, and we appreciate you. I appreciate you. I want to give you your flowers, bro.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure, man. But y'all make sure y'all tap in with my boy, man. B Fire, man. Artists, tap in, man. Listen to the game he gave y'all and just tap in with him, man, to make your career go farther and just invest, you know? But y'all know what it is, man. It's Rick Taylor, Rap Draft, B Fire, man. We out of here.
Yeah, y'all know the vibes, B Fire.